5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no channel for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Paleocrat Diaries. Man, it has been a difficult ride here. I'm not even going to lie. You know, it's so different when you do live shows than when you're pre-recording, right? Pre-recording is so much easier, and it's easier on the throat. I got to admit this. I've been going off the rails. You know that I've been going off the rails, flipping out, losing my mind, getting ticked off, yelling, growling, screaming, pulling my beard out, all of that. My voice is hit. It's totally hit. But, and I'm hoping that this works out, I bought a new computer. Because I was having such a hard time. With my laptop, right? It was constantly running out of juice all the time. Let me go ahead and get to my, oh yeah, look at this. Got to get my notes up here because we got a great show for you, right? So I got this new laptop and everything should be good. The battery should be good. The connection should be good. That's my hope. Okay, I strongly believe it. Fingers crossed on this. You know, I ended up getting an iMac. I've never had one. I've always had, you know, a PC of some kind. Never had an iMac until now. Until this. And so it's massive. And so if you see me looking over to the side, I got to do that because that's where my screen is. I'll figure this out. Eventually, I'll be able to just look straight at the camera so we can make that eye contact. Okay? Let me go ahead and pop up this news because we got an amazing show. You're not going to want to miss a single bit of this. It's going to be tons and tons and tons of fun. But first, okay, before we get into all of the good stuff, and there's a lot of good stuff to talk about, okay, and sad stuff, and angry stuff. I'm not going to let you down. Okay, we got a prosecutor blaming a bar owner who committed suicide, wrongfully accused, like so many Trump supporters, wrongfully accused of terrible things, right? Censored, made to feel like they're the worst people on the planet. That's why I'm more radical than I used to be, because we're not in the same arena. We're in a zoo, and it's on fire. The jackals are all over the place, burning everything down. You have to posture yourself rightly, okay? A prosecutor in Omaha blames a bar owner who was defending himself. And what, his dad? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the color revolution that's going on. Okay. And there's people who say, oh, you're out of your mind with that. No. Everything is set. Okay. Aunt Jemima or Betty Crocker couldn't have asked for a better recipe. I don't even know if there is an Aunt Jemima anymore. Is there? What did they name that thing? What did they name Aunt Jemima? Uncle Ben, too. He's like Ben's rice now. What's the matter with Uncle Ben? Okay. Totally ripped him up. And I think Uncle Ben was actually a real guy. We're going to talk about the Sunrise Movement. Okay. And the kind of shenanigans that they're up to. Part of course, the color revolution. The election interference that's happening with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram. Sleepy Joe Biden. The fact that it appears anyway that he's going to debate. Okay. At least looks this way. Okay. We'll talk about that. But they put out the topics. They put out the topics in advance. This is what we're going to discuss. Here, study up, buddy. Memorize it. Do your best, man, and pump him, pump old Joe. Pump him full of Adderall. Because that's what's going to have to happen with him. We're going to talk about COVID, the craziness with COVID. But I don't just want to talk about that stuff. I want to talk about fun things, right? Stuff that, hobbies. A book I've been reading. I've been reading a book actually by Stephen King on writing. I've never read anything else by Stephen King. Never. And I only read this book because a very accomplished friend of mine, in fact, he's my best friend probably, in the universe. We talk almost every day. We co-host Paleo Cheese together. We've known each other for a very long time. You know, I've got him. I got a buddy out in the Detroit area. I've got some friends here local that I would consider super close. My cousin in Pennsylvania. But if I were to think of who I talk to every day, it's this guy. But he encouraged me. He said, look, you're putting the final touches on your novel, and you're putting together a book of poetry, and you're putting together political writings and other things, and you're possibly collaborating, in all likelihood collaborating with a friend about politics and religion on a book. You need to read this book. And I have. And I just finished it today, and I'll tell you, it's totally amazing. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about music. Apparently, Rolling Stones updated their top 500 albums of all time. I'd love to get some of your opinions on that. Of course, the Breonna Taylor, the riots going on right now, because justice was served, to be honest. Impartial, right? It wasn't, let's put it this way. I don't want to be insensitive. Is that insofar as the officers were responsible, okay, strictly speaking, it was served. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, more importantly, and an apology from me. Okay, I saw Tim Pool do the same thing. He beat me to it only because I wasn't broadcasting live. I thought about doing a live one, just something on my Facebook. And if you're watching right now on my Facebook profile, I salute you. I salute you. You know, first time for a lot of those people. I've kind of hid this because I look in other shows and other videos when it comes to stuff about family and parenting. I'm like Mr. Rogers, okay, like Bob Saget, right? Except for all the crazy perversion because he's a real perv. In real life, he's got a real problem. The whole Full House thing is messed up. But I've got this persona, this personality. It's the most authentically who I am on a day-to-day. And then you've got Paleo Cheese. Just fun. We don't get into crazy controversy, at least not with politics. You'll never see me on a rage, on a rampage, flipping out, pulling my hair out, talking about the world on fire. You're not going to hear that. Okay, you're going to hear stuff about movies and about books. We do touch on certain topics that are philosophical, but nothing at this level. So Paleocrat Diaries, that's where I'm able to be kind of myself in a way that's as disembodied from those things as I possibly can. Right? To let that inner wolf howl, to let the fire rage. And so that's what I do. So I've kind of kept it from my Facebook profile. You could see it on my page. You could see it on Periscope. You could see it on YouTube. And everybody can comment. We've got the chat app open right now. We'll deal with chats later. Eventually, we'll get chats live so that I've got a separate screen. My laptop is being fixed, so that battery will be fine. And then I'll be able to have 3 different screens going at the same time. Super pumped. But this is the first for that. Okay? So we're going to talk about a lot of these topics. But before we begin, I have to come clean. I absolutely have to. Because, here, let me get my drink. This is a big one. If I wasn't on the carnivore diet, I'd be drinking some wine right now. Right? To make this easier. Because this is going to be a tough one, guys. Normally, when I do these shows, I create not just what you see, okay? My wife, of course, helps with some of the design, but I put it together. I do all the notes. I do all the highlighting. I have the artistic mind to come up with what you're going to see watching the show, including the introduction to the show, which, by the way, gets a lot of compliments. both for the song, and I didn't write that song. I did write the song at the end of the show. That's mine. Okay, I write a lot of music. I play guitar and I sing as well. And so, but the intro with all the pictures, and when I decided to do this, it comes with a backstory. And the backstory is that I've been doing radio since I was like 15 years old. None of this is new to me, okay? And because I've done it for so long, I mean, that's what, almost 30 years that I've been doing something to do with media, whether it's writing for a newspaper, serving on the editorial board of the college paper, whether it's being on radio, whether it's being on television, whether it's being a lobbyist. There are a lot of things, or a chief aide to a lobbyist. There's a lot of things that go into the backstory of this, and the early days of YouTube, and a lot of the interactions that I've had over the years. Okay, so when I came to this, doing this, I came in just kind of assuming that we were all on the same page with an inside joke. But I was wrong. I was wrong. Because turns out, come to find out, there's a lot of people completely unfamiliar, and I should have expected this, completely unfamiliar with that backstory. And I'm not going to go into all of it. Okay? I'm not going to go into all of it. But I am going to say that over the years, because of the controversial nature of the show, it can be polarizing, not going to lie. I'm a kind of I'm a guy that likes to reach across the aisle. I have a lot of friends all over the map, okay? All over the grid. But at the same time, with this presentation, obviously more polarizing. And I have to keep a watch on myself about this. So I'm glad for those angels on my shoulder, my friends, okay? The godmother of of Wolfgang, my son, our newest addition. People like that, okay, that help to keep me on track, because it's easy for me to just flip out, to growl and scream. But over the years, I have been accused of many different wild, bizarre things. I've been accused, most recently, of being a psyop. You can see that. It's at the end of one of the episodes. What was it, the second or third one? I was accused of being a psyop, a psychological operation. Okay, maybe even working with the CIA, some kind of spook network, Delta Force maybe. I've been accused of being a Freemason. I've been accused of being involved with the Illuminati. I've been accused of being a Putin stooge, a Russian shill, working with the CIA, Men in Black type stuff. The most radical one is that I was accused of this long con with the Vatican. Not me, but my parents. Apparently for all that money. Because everybody that knows me knows that I'm rolling. I'm rolling deep in the loop. Okay? But what I decided to do, rather than going into the whole backstory, is I was going to allow you to become familiar with it with two different things. And this is a little bit different. Okay? At first, I had a plan. I was gonna pull like a, what is it? Is it Orson Welles? Right? The idea of putting something out there and making it look like a group had taken over the show, that they'd hacked it, that they'd taken over the transmission, and that I was helpless, and that they were going to reveal to the world my true affiliations with the New World Order. But I don't want to trick you. It would be fun. It would be fun. But you guys, look, if you're watching it, I don't want to trick you guys. Okay? I want to be real with you. And so I want to show you, we're going to show two different things. We're going to watch them together. It's good fun. One of those is, and I was originally, let's see here. Originally, I was going to make it so that you would see the Paleonaughty one first. Okay, Paleonaughty is hilarious, by the way. And they've got a bunch of videos. And by they, let's just say I know the people who operate that. You can go in the about section. You heard the crack. You can go in the about section and you can learn a little bit more about that. But I wanted to begin instead by going further back and showing you a video called Catholic Controversy. This video, I am playing both parts in this. And I wish if I had to go back, and I thought about this, going back and reworking it so that the higher, squeakier voice was replaced with me, because that's who it's supposed to be. Okay, so both voices, though, are me. I masked both of them. And this is back in the day. Okay, what 2008? I think 2009. But I'd been accused, and you'll see it. You'll see it here. So we're going to watch it together. Okay, and it gives you an idea. Because I don't want to deal with this again. And I want to be able, if somebody comes up and says, look, you know, why do you have that symbolism? What's up with this? I want to be able to say, yep, here it is. In fact, I'll go ahead and I'll take this whole segment out, and we're just going to go ahead and just share that. And people can go, oh, yeah, this is the kind of crazy that Jeremiah has had to deal with for many, many, many years. Okay, so here we go. This right here is Catholic Conspiracy, based on a true story entirely. Okay, the accusations, totally true. None of this is new. Here we go. Let's watch this together.
Oh, man. Calm down. Sure, she knows the truth, but she sounds like a lunatic. Honestly, who's gonna believe she's telling the truth about the Great Conspiracy?
Yeah, but that doesn't explain how Shanana found out the truth.
Listen, nobody in their right mind is gonna think that the Catholic Church really went to such great lengths for someone like you, right?
No.
The reason this stuff sounds crazy is because the church wanted it to sound crazy. It was a safeguard. If anyone caught on, it wouldn't hinder the operation because it sounds too crazy. That was the whole point.
I know. It just freaked me out. I mean, she must be some kind of prophet or something. She knew the entire scheme. She even knew about the secret playbook.
So what? People aren't gonna buy that the hierarchy of the church was in cahoots with your parents from before you were born. Nobody will buy the line that they conspired with one another, all the while knowing that you would one day, someday, fake a conversion to Rome. The whole idea is nonsense.
Don't remind me.
All right. So there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Just play it cool. Like I said, regardless of how much the truth she may know, she still looks crazy. That's the beauty, my friend, of Catholic conspiracies. So just don't even worry about it. Ignore it. Let her go. And this will just go away. Nobody can read your mind. Nobody knows what's running through your head. So they'll never know the truth. As long as you keep it that way.
Yeah. All right. So as you can see, right, I had to deal with this. And that's how I dealt with it, okay? So I had people at the time, Protestant people, who sincerely believed that the Vatican had contacted my family and that they had worked out a scheme. And it was mixed all, of course, with the New World Order and everything else, and that I was all part of this. It was all because they take the position that the Vatican, in fact, is New World Order, that the Pope is New World Order, Illuminati, cuckoo crazies, by the way. Okay, but this was something we had to deal with. And so I decided, instead of just ignoring this, because they made a video. I don't even know if it's still around. I don't even know if that particular person is still around. But those accusations continued. And then they continued on after my time as a sedevacantist. When I left sedevacantism, which is a radical brand of Catholicism, all of a sudden, it was back. This time from a different sector. This time from Catholic people. And that's never stopped. There's been times over the years where rad trads, and I'm a Latin Mass guy, right? I'm not an SSPX guy. I don't, I talked about that on Meaning of Catholic, okay, with Kennedy Hall. And if you don't follow Kennedy Hall, you should, right? Just because we disagree over the society in Lefebvre doesn't mean that we're not friends. Highly respect him, okay? But I already talked about that. But when I left there, all of a sudden I was New World Order again. It came right back up. Boom. I'm a Freemason. Okay, so what I decided to do was to troll these people. And I did. I trolled them periodically with pictures. And so it was a joke. It was a joke. And it turned into this. This is the greatest thing. This is actually a combination of a whole bunch of different videos. I think there's like 7 or 8 of them all together over at Paleonaughty. And it was cool because I mentioned Paleonaughty on YouTube. And I mentioned him, I think, on Twitter recently. When engaging with people who were basically saying, hey, look, man, this guy gives me the bad feels and the tum-tums. I don't know about this guy. Seems kind of New World Order to me. Look at all that Freemason symbolism. Look at all of that. Okay? You don't know me. You don't know me. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead and show you this because it's hilarious. And I know you're going to love it. So here we go. Here's Paleonaughty, and it's a series of exposés on the Paleocrat. Enjoy.
The crew at Paleonaughty worked very hard to make sure that this video could finally be released to the public. Paleo Radio does not want their past revealed. You will find out now why. The Paleocrat is an agglomeration of many weaknesses. In this leaked video, we discover yet another. Could this be Paleocrat's kryptonite? It appears even more debilitating than his highly documented weak-ass layups, or even his flubbed give-me-putts. Watch to the end to discover why the Paleocrat has worked so hard to make sure this video was never seen by the public. Whether bragging about his mega-hot half-Korean wife, or how proud he is of Team Tiny Dancer and his so-called Bannister beasties, for more than a decade, the Paleocrat has portrayed himself a champion of true blue American family values. But behind his Cracker Jack's beard and mustachio, you will discover an evil man, H-E-double hockey sticks bent on ruining his children and destroying the very cornerstone of Western civilization. Is this just a shtick, all fun and games? Or is it not more likely that the Paleocrat is a child-hating New World Order elitist? Watch for yourselves. Listen for the devil in the details. Then you decide. The world will finally see his true colors, giving witness for just how he and his work serve as slippery slides straight to Sodom and Gomorrah. Is Paleocrat just a playful Pee-wee? Or is he a pervert like the real Pee-wee? Or are we witnessing a secret initiation rite into the New World Order? We reveal what may be the genesis of his vast conspiratorial network. To do so, we are required to go back in time, over 20 years ago, to the year 1997, in Paleocrat's hometown of Battle Creek, Michigan. According to reliable sources, this is where he lived with his first wife, Mom, and their pet pug, Buffalo. It also happens to be where Paleocrat met a mysterious, even magical man, a man named Elder Otto. But who is Elder Otto? What was his mission? Is he associated with Dr. Darren? And what exactly made the Holy Being so almighty? And whatever happened to Maud, or even Buffalo, did either of them ever return? Most importantly, is there evidence that Dr. Otto is like the ageless vampire Keanu Reeves, appearing, disappearing, and reappearing throughout history? Listen closely to the dialogue. Take notice of the esoteric symbolism. Then you decide. Nazi Germany had Joseph Mengele. America had famed lobotomist Walter Freeman. And
So that was Chad.
It bears to reason
And this is my cousin
that
Derek.
the Paleocrat would also have an evil doctor within his syndicate. We here at Paleonaughty believe we have discovered just that man. Is this further evidence that the elites in the New World Order believe in occultic, athletic, and medicinal practices? Are they hoping to cripple mankind with false health and fitness information, fast-tracking the future envisioned in the Georgia Guidestones? Listen to his advisements, tally his misinformation, then you decide. Where our previous videos focused on Paleocrat's New World Order connection, as well as his fascination with Old Man Poopybot, this highlights something so much worse. Is the Paleocrat the animal lover he projects himself to be? Is it true that he has lovingly cared for cats, dogs, fish, and even rabbits? Or doesn't logic and reason demand that we conclude that the Paleocrat is in fact a New World Order priest performing animal sacrifice? Watch through to the end, then you decide. Is this the kryptonite we've been waiting for?
So yes, that's the backstory. Longer than I wanted to do, longer than I wanted to talk about it. Okay. But at the same time, I thought, you know, the truth is, and I'm probably going to censor, right? To censor the beginning of the show, self-censor, because in honesty, I don't want people to be like, yo, I think bro's a secret Freemason. Or, oh my gosh, I think he's a psyop. I don't think that there's any justification for that. But if people don't know that backstory, and you can tell that's a whole bunch of videos, a long period of time. Okay. And so, but now you know. Now you know. So I'm not even going to call out the people that I wouldn't have even addressed this because we're taking valuable time away. So I hope you enjoyed that at least. Because it's good. It's good. I got to admit, I absolutely love those Paleonaughty videos. And those are just the beginning portions. Each one of those videos is a retooled video that I had done many years ago. Because I used to do sketch comedy with my buddy, these home videos with my buddy, Chad, the guy that I do paleo cheese with. Let's go ahead and turn this bugger up. And so that's the guy that I do paleo cheese with. That's Dr. Otto. My cousin, okay, is Dr. Derek. That's my cousin in that video. Okay, so we've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. And so I just wanted to give that background. So, okay, no further ado. And again, I apologize. Okay, I apologize for even taking the time to do that. Oh, but you know what? To be honest, number one, it gives my voice a little bit of a break. Number two, to be honest, it can be really frustrating when the world is like this. See that? See that, America? Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, how am I going to make that? I don't quite know yet how to. Let's make sure that everything's fine. Well, it's going to be good enough. Good enough, okay? Because I've got this iMac, I don't know how to zoom in and out. Okay, so I don't know how to fill the screen yet with that. Okay, so you might have to squint. You have to look a little bit more. But right here, and by the way, Gateway Pundit, I hope that people from Gateway Pundit watch this show. I don't know how many people, how many shows on the regular are citing Gateway Pundit, but I do. I do. Big time. Okay? Because they're good. And I absolutely love the people who put together the headlines. Big League Politics is also quite good. But this one, look at this. Scumbag special prosecutor who brought charges against Omaha bar owner who killed rioter, then committed suicide, gives press conference, blames him for being a Trump supporter. This is normally the kind of thing that would have my hair on fire. And just know, even if I don't growl, okay, because I've got to record tomorrow and I'm supposed to record on Saturday. And then there's a possibility that on Monday, I'm making a switch with this show to morning time. Big news. I'll confirm it over the weekend. You got to pay attention to paleocratdiaries.com. But all right, Special Prosecutor Frederick Franklin, is that his real name? Fred Franklin, gave a press conference on Wednesday discussing the case he brought against Omaha bar owner Jake Gardner. Rest in peace, by the way. And essentially used his support for President Donald Trump to justify the political persecution against him. This is no joke. This is no joke. And to be honest, these people are lucky. They are lucky that Trump supporters are not responding in kind. That's not a lie. And I got to say this, that patience is wearing thin. Beware. Patience wears thin. People are having enough. I know I am. And I know tons of people who feel the exact same. Who compared to years ago, that meme, I've said it before and I'll say it again, that meme that's got the young girl in the camo with the MAGA hat and the guy dressed in riot gear next to her, and over top of her it says, me in 2016, and over top the other guy says, me in 2020. That's iconic. That's iconic right now because it applies to so many people's lives on the Trump train. Because we've endured years of being maligned, falsely accused, lie after lie, smear after smear, not only of the president, but of ourselves. And you want to think you can call us racist forever and have a crappy freaking definition for what that means and use that and label us with the worst possible terms you can come up with, and you think that it's not going to make us ticked? And we're finally going to say enough is enough? You're just dreaming. You are out to lunch. Like this guy, Fred Franklin. Gardner killed himself, by the way. He was hit with multiple charges for killing a rioter that was attacking him, choking him. Choking. Yeah, shoot him. Gun. Somebody comes up and they're choking you. Choking is the kind of thing that can kill you. That person is not playing nice. It could make you, it can make you disabled. It can, in the brain, lack of oxygen. Big time problems. Major damage done. Oh, and come to find out, these people were already rioting. They're already being violent lunatics. What's a guy supposed to do? Well, I guess I'll just let you come into my store. I guess I'll just let you choke me. Because, you know, BLM and stuff. No. No way. Period. You don't like it? Don't riot at my store. You don't like it? Don't choke me. Period. Oh, look at that. Ugh. I had tons of it highlighted right here. We'll just say this, okay? Franklin said that Gardner was philosophically opposed to the reason for the protest. So what? So what? Are you allowed to defend your store and to defend yourself while also being philosophically opposed to people rioting outside and choking you? Oh, a burglar came into your house and you shot the guy. Oh, now you're a terrorist because you were philosophically opposed to his beliefs? What? No. No. Apparently, it negated the right to defend himself. He admitted that the rioters were smashing windows and vandalizing the bar. Yeah. Let him do it. Just listen and absorb. This guy's a cultist, man. He's a cultist. Let them destroy your business. Let them destroy your livelihood. Let them come up and choke you. Jake and others sat inside the hive with the lights off, and vandals and people engaged in destroying did just that, he said. But one thing they did not do, there was not a single attempt to go inside the property. Oh, just smashing the windows. Just smashing the windows. This is crazy. Oh, you defended yourself. The person was just bashing in your door. They hadn't gone inside. You know how many videos you can go watch of people smashing windows and then going inside? What's the point? It's what they're doing. You can go and see video after video after video of these rioters and these looters acting crazy and maniacal, hyper emotionalistic, not using their mind, their baser impulses, animalistic impulses, not their higher self. That's not your higher self. Garner was a Marine and a veteran of deployments to Iraq and Haiti. He described himself as a libertarian, but he voted for President Trump. He volunteered for his campaign in 3 states. They said he was a nice guy. He's a dead guy. And you know what? Nobody cares about him. The left doesn't care because it's anti-humanistic, dehumanistic. They're dehumanizing people. And this is all just a means to an end. It's what happens in a godless world. I'm sorry to tell you that. In a godless world, you've given up God, and now you're dehumanizing everyone. And what makes it especially sick is the cognitive dissonance to say that you're a humanist, all the while dehumanizing everybody. Facebook censors the Gateway Pundit exclusive. Police found a crack pipe on George Floyd. Wow. Labeled harassment and bullying. Last week, the Gateway Pundit confirmed and reported that George Floyd was found with a crack pipe during his arrest at the end of May in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Look, people were so fanatical about this. I mean, it was like mania, man. Where these evangelifish, right? These people who've been terribly influenced by the world, afraid of social pressures, who they're discontents of the gospel. They don't really believe it anymore, right? They want the happy fun parts, the fluffy Jesus, the rainbow cloud Jesus, like the Church of Iceland, the tranny Jesus with the boobs. That's what they want. They're wrong about him. But they all went down there. They were singing songs where he died, treating him like he's a saint. Come to find out, so much of it a lie. So much of it a lie. Unsurprising. And this is where I got to apologize, actually. Because I had fallen for it. Let's see if we can let's see. Was it Command Plus? Oh, look at this. Yeah, we'll do it that way. Okay, I wish I could make it bigger. Everything the media claimed about Breonna Taylor's death was a lie. Truth surfaces, no police charged in her death. Look, I have a friend who lives down in the area where all the riots are happening down there. He said it sounded like thunder. All the way from his house, you could hear it. Violence. That's evil. Crazy, maniacal evil. It's terrible. Especially when you have to account for this. The media claimed Breonna Taylor was shot during a no-knock warrant. False. I said that. And I was wrong. Look, I'm not afraid to admit I'm wrong. If I've said something wrong, call me out on it. Call me out in the comment sections. I'll talk to you. In fact, I just had a guy recently message me or he added me as a friend. He was talking to me and he was surprised. He said, look, he's kind of blown away at the fact that I was even talking to him. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Apparently, there's a lot of people, a lot of pundits, especially in the Catholic world, that don't talk, in his words, to the peons. I do. I'm a man of the people. The media claimed Breonna Taylor was shot in her bed. False. False. How many people do you know right now that say that? How many people do you know right now who go, no-knock warrant, man? False. That she was shot in her bed. False. The media claimed Breonna Taylor was murdered. False. Everything the media and lawyer Ben Crump claimed about the death of Breonna Taylor and the circumstances around her death was based on lies. By the way, as a reminder, and I think I've talked about it on this show, maybe on Meaning of Catholic, Ben Crump knows of the connection between the officer, okay, and George Floyd. He knows there's more to it. He admitted on TV that there's things they don't understand. It seems like these guys knew each other. Oh, yeah. We'd know more about that if the cantina didn't go up in flames. Everything the media and lawyer claimed about it was based on lies. The officials in Kentucky allowed a mountain of lies. And this is where it gets bad. The officials allowed these lies to grow until the evidence was finally presented. Do you not see how this is going to inevitably be terrible? In the context of everything else going on, and then you sit there and you say, oh, the officials knew? They knew this whole time that certain details of the popular narrative being peddled by every single person on every single major station was a lie? And they don't even come out and try to tell people, look, cut it out, man. Oh, we're going to wait till the day of, when we have to go out there and try to explain to everybody, oh, by the way, we knew this the whole time. Too late. And that's when the Kentucky Attorney General was forced to admit the truth. According to evidence revealed at the press conference, the police executed a search warrant by knocking on the door. Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, refused to answer the door, even after police identified themselves. The police broke down the door. Kenneth Walker was armed and shot first at police. The police returned fire, and that's how Breonna Taylor was shot and killed. She shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been there. I remember I went one time. I used to do drugs. I've done lots and lots of drugs in my life, okay? Tons of them, all different kinds. And I found myself in a bazillion different times of my life in a terrible predicament. I was surrounded by people I should have never been around. Never. I was putting myself in danger. I got my coat stolen. I went to a house one time looking to buy some weed. I remember going in. I didn't know any of the people. They started asking me if I wanted to buy crack rock. Showed it to me. Talking about heroin and stuff, man. There was a dude in there. He was double fisting this liquor. They made me take off my sweater because it was blue. They were part of the Bloods. Or whatever the red gang is in Battle Creek, Michigan. I believe it's Bloods, though. They were talking about crowns down. They were drinking Old English. Because in the bottle, it's red and gold, the malt liquor, and the crowns are down. At least on the top bar. If you look at the bottom bar, they're facing up because the crowns are little triangles that simply face inward all the way around the square. So technically they were up on the bottom, sideways on one side, over here on the other, and only down on the top, but they took it seriously. Take off that blue sweater, buddy. I had my hat cocked a little bit to the side. Who you representing? I'm thinking, dude, I'm like a 17-year-old hippie guy. I'm wearing a blue cardigan sweater or something like that. I look like Kurt Cobain. I'm not in any gang. They knew that. My coat that night, ended up leaving super high. Ended up leaving. Realized I had forgotten my coat. Go back and my coat's gone the next morning. Can't find it. Double-fisted guy stole it. Now that is different. Okay, I'm not saying that my coat and that life are equal things. What I'm saying is that it was there were negative consequences to putting yourself in an environment where there's drugs and guns. Bad news. Super-duper bad news. And you know, the thing is, people might say, dude, you're blaming the victim of this. What I'm saying is that if you were her friend, would you encourage that? If you were honestly a friend, would you sit there and go, oh yeah, you're hanging out with the dude with the guns and the drugs, right? Last week, the city of Louisville said it would pay $12 million, and this is enraging. It would pay $12 million to Ms. Taylor's estate as part of a legal settlement with her family. The agreement also required the city to implement policy changes, including a mandate for police commanders to approve all search warrants. Today, the shooting was ruled justified, this is yesterday, right, as the police were responding to being fired on. That's a Trojan horse, by the way. They knew it. Those officials knew that it wasn't true. Those details were not true. And yet they not only paid out gobs and gobs and gobs of money, but they also vowed, we're going to make changes, progressive ones, reimagining the police force. On a body of lies. As with the Trayvon case, as with the Michael Brown case, as with the Freddie Gray case, everything pushed by the media was based on lies. The media will now refuse to admit the truth and will now spin the narrative to claim they never reported incorrectly. And if you think that that's outrageous, the idea that that they won't deny that, then read this. Check this out. New York Times deletes portions of the 1619 Project. Its creator deletes her tweets. James Anthony over at the Post Millennial. Nicole Hannah-Jones, project chief of the 1619 Project and a writer for the New York Times, has recently gone on a deletion binge and removed all but a few of her tweets. Wonder why. A quick scan of her account shows that nothing exists prior to a few days ago. Hannah-Jones previously had thousands upon thousands of tweets. It comes in response, or in the aftermath, of Trump having the 1776 Commission teaching our children about the miracle of American history. He's been critical of Howard Zinn, critical of the 1619 Project, and the crusade against American history. And he said that any educational institution that teaches the 1619 Project would not be eligible for federal funding. Whoa. What's gotten big news? What is the 1619 Project? The goal of it, stated, is to reframe American history by considering what it would mean to regard 1619 as our nation's birth year. Doing so requires us to place the consequences of slavery and the contributions of Black Americans at the very center of the story we tell ourselves about who we are as a country. But why am I bringing this up in response to the idea that, that it's outrageous to believe that the media will just continue on without even admitting the truth. They do it all the time. This show documents it. So does Mark Dice. So does Paul Joseph Watson. So does Tim Pool. So does this show. You're watching a good show. Now, here's the thing, is that Hannah Jones has since claimed that she never said that 1619 was the nation's true founding date. But here's the thing. The full issue of the 100-page 1619 project, for which she won a Pulitzer Prize, reads, and I quote, this is brazen. This is a brazen line. It gets worse at the end. You got to wait till the end. You decide. Wait till the end. It is not a year that most Americans know as a notable date in our country's history. Those who do are at most a tiny fraction of those who can tell you that 1776 is the year of our nation's birth. What if, however, we were to tell you that this fact, which is taught in our schools and unanimously celebrated every 4th of July, is wrong? Oh, that's weird. Okay. So it already seems like she's at least so far saying that 1776 is not the year of our nation's birth. Let's find out what it is here. And that the country's true birth date, okay, it's right there. The moment that its defining contradictions first came into the world was in late August of 1619. I mean, is that not clear? Do you need assistance? Are you struggling to wrap your head around this, what she said? Like, what level is your reading comprehension? I'm not trying to be rude. I'm asking, does anybody here find that difficult, what she just said? They talk about it sometimes referred to the slavery, right? When the first slave ship came over. They say that it's sometimes referred to as the country's original sin, but it's more than that. It is the country's very origin. Okay, I mean, seems simple enough, right? But now it appears that the Times is doing its best to scrub many of these references from its own online presence. As can be seen here in this event, she clearly says that our true founding is 1619, not 1776. And that America was not yet America, but this was the moment it began. The online version at the Times has had that line deleted. Oh. It's kind of like, remember when Hillary had to delete "Believe All Women"? Remember that? Remember that. It was on her campaign website. You go to her campaign website, "Believe All Women." And then people started to say, well, you've actually been accused of rape by a woman. There's a public speech. I think, did she write a book? What's her name? Somebody in the comments, man. What's that lady's name? Talking about Bill. You said Bill's gay, by the way. Said he's into dudes and chicks. Hannah Jones' latest words on the subject were, quote, "The 1619 Project does not argue that 1619 is our true founding. For claims to the contrary, blame the right." Whoa. Whoa. Hold on a second. It's like, what is it? Sesame Street, isn't it? One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not the same. Was it that? What was the show with Bill Cosby? With that little pen. Didn't have a B on it. Made a noise. What was that called? Get your pens and your pencils. One of these things is not like the other. Brazen lies. Brazen lies. Here's another brazen lie. That Trump has never condemned white nationalists. Or that on the day where he's talking about the Charlottesville, Okay, where he's talking about Charlottesville, that he says there's good people on both sides, and he was talking about the Nazis, that he was talking about the white supremacists. Brazen lie. Now, maybe they're ignorant. Maybe those people have just simply never seen the full video. Maybe they've just seen that highly edited clip. You know, this is what gets me. Okay, I'm a long form guy. I like long form stuff. I do like, you know, edited videos or whatever. If it's 7 hours long, although sometimes I'll actually watch the full thing. Because sometimes people have all these biases that they play into it. They cut it at certain points. But the media is always talking about these videos that are trimmed down that Trump shares and that Trump supporters share, that trims down what somebody says in a 20-minute speech, not realizing that there's actually a time limit. And so, of course, you edit that. Yeah. The whole thing's crazy. So they lie about that. They lie about Russia. They lie about PP-Gate. They lie about the dossier. They lie over and over and over and over and over and over again. But what makes it sad is that we live in a world where everybody is so polarized. Everyone is so partisan at this point and divided that we don't read any overlapping stuff. You know, that's at least it's at least a benefit of the mainstream media, is to say, back then, the idea of a mainstream media is that the nation has a specific dialogue and that there's kind of a left-leaning and kind of a right-leaning. But now, I mean, it's just like siloed out. Pigs go to that side, cattle go to that side. One silo, another silo. They only go and they follow these sources. This group only follows these sources. And those sources have entirely different views of almost any given scenario. Danger. That's just that's dangerous. You can't survive as a civilization like that. Godlessness again. The War on Populism. This is a good article. Over at UNS.com, CJ Hopkins. Excuse me. It's what happens when you do a bunch of shows. And by the way, while I'm getting this drink, let me say, make sure to go over to Paleocratdiaries.com. Okay, subscribe. I want to thank the people who became members recently. I appreciate it. It's $5 a month. It keeps this show going. That's a hub. Okay, it's been difficult because of the new baby and other things. I promised, and I haven't made good on that. I ain't gonna lie. I've done poorly. But that's what keeps this thing going. I do it because I love it, right? But that allows me to send my kids to school. Okay? All that money, by the way, helps my kids go to school. And it offsets money for me that I would be able, if I need to, like I did, my computer was dying. It was basically a percentage per second drain, even plugged in. You know, but it helps that to go along. You can make sure, go over to Paleocratdiaries.com, check that out. So it appears that the war on populism is building toward an exciting climax. All the proper pieces are in place for a Class A global-cap color revolution. By the way, that's global capitalism. And maybe even civil war. You got your unauthorized Putin Nazi president, your imaginary apocalyptic pandemic, your violent identitarian civil unrest, your heavily armed, politically polarized populace, your ominous rumblings for military quarters. You couldn't really ask for much more. He breaks it down. Says the first thing every big Hollywood action picture, and by the way, I got to say this. He's talking about how the show that's going on right now. This is a theater that's happening. We're witnessing events. Okay, the way the media operates, this is theater. Sticking to the classic Act 3 formula. the one they teach in all those script writing seminars, which, full disclosure, the writer of this article happens to teach. The first thing every big Hollywood action picture or global cap color revolution needs is a solid log line to build the plot around. The log line shows us, 1, our protagonist, and 2, what our protagonist is trying to do, and 3, our antagonist or antagonistic force. The log line, whoa, look at that. Oh, I don't know how I did that. I really don't. I want to know how to get that down. The logline writes itself. After America is taken over by a Russian-backed Hitlerian dictator, the forces of democracy unite to depose the tyrant and save the free world. Act 1. Status quo, inciting incident. And by the way, have you guys seen that they have that James Comey story? Was it Netflix? Is it Netflix? Who did that? The Comey rule or something dumb. Something real stupid. Just the worst. The guy who plays Trump doesn't look like him. Looks really dumb. Nobody's going to watch it except the real fanatical people. They'll watch it. They're right after they get done watching Cuties. And that weird pedo movie that was making the rounds that has a kid basically talking about going home and being with mommy. Messed up junk. Peacefully operating itself, its de facto global capitalist empire like a normal global hegemon, destabilizing, restructuring, privatizing everything it hadn't already destabilized and privatized, and occasionally murdering, torturing, and otherwise mercilessly oppressing people. When out of nowhere, it was viciously attacked by Donald Trump and his Putin Nazi populists, the deplorables, and they stole the election. They hacked, remember? They hacked the vote. They hacked the election. Remember that crap? It reminds me of that movie, Kung Fury. Hacker Man. Bloop, 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 bloop. I'm going to hack into the past. This is like fantasy land, man. For you writers, this is the inciting incident. There's a new situation, though. There's a predicament, a lock-in. And that's that Globocap didn't take it well. The deep state and the corporate media started to shriek about the coming, and these are quotes, age of darkness, the death of globalization at the hands of white supremacy. Listen, it's like foreboding. You know what I mean? You can just imagine the voice that kind of goes along with it. Slimy, creepy. It's like Strzok said, you could smell them at Walmart. You could smell them. Racial Orwellianism. Zionist anti-Semitism. What? Bottomless pit of fascism. Somewhere in there, the resistance was born. This is the plot point known as the lock-in, where the protagonist commits the struggle ahead. Act 2, progress and obstacles. Okay, the resistance. Remember, Me Too. All the Russia stuff. All the Hitler stuff. Trump's Hitler. All the Trump supporters are racist. Remember that? Hasn't gone away. I mean, Russia kind of faded because Mueller is a joke, right? We all know. I mean, it was like Joe Scarborough put up a picture of Mueller in his house, and the day that Mueller got up there, what page? I don't really know. He took it down. He was like crying at home. Him and Mika. But it seemed like, man, their days are numbered. It's over, folks. It's over. Trump's going to be gone. Kind of like Trump's not going to win. Hillary's winning. 1 million to 0. Rising action. First culmination. There was plenty of action and an endless series of bombshells. But by the end of March 2019, Russiagate had blown up. Done. Populism was on the rise, and more than that, Trump was ascendant. He was fury. He came out guns a-blazing, saying, I told you. I told you. We still don't know who hacked it, by the way. This was the classic first culmination. Oh, let me say this. I'm pretty positive that I know who it was. I've been saying it for a long time. Bill Binney's right. Bill Binney is right. The classic first culmination, sometimes known as the point of no return. Act 2B, complications, subplots, higher stakes. It was all this stuff. Obstruction gate. He's obstructing. Because he's doing what he's allowed to do. Ukraine gate. Porn star gate. PP gate. White supremacist non-terrorist terrorism. Brain-devouring Russian Cubano crickets. Russian spy whales. Remember those? Russian spy whales. Remember the conspiracies about Spectrum Health? The backdoor communication? There's got to be a catalog. There's got to be a catalog. Second culmination, major setback. Trump was still Russian agent Hitler after all. So he wasn't going to be too hard to beat. But then they had to deal with Bernie Sanders. And they didn't like the field, so what did they do? They got Biden. It was the dark night of the soul, man. It's Joe Biden. Act 3. So, all right. This is where the Neo orders up guns, lots of guns. The entire thing has gone crazy. Full totalitarian mode. Suddenly a rather undeadly virus, as far as deadly pestilences go, becomes the excuse for Globocap to lock down most of humanity for months. To destroy an economy, which, by the way, remember, that was so many people on the left. They knew that if the economy was booming like it was, and without coronavirus, the economy, boop, boop, big time, chugga, 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 chugga. Money, jobs, people coming back. Feels good. Because Maganomics rocks. Because the American economics rocks. People are done with that neoliberal crap. They're done with the globalist free trade regime. They're just done. I'm sorry to tell you this. For the time being, I mean, there might be somebody comes back later and reminds everybody of the good old days when NAFTA was rocking. But man, if it wasn't for a virus, and look at that. All of a sudden now tons of people don't have jobs. And the media is sitting there going, it's Trump's fault. Really? You think so? Really? We'll go to town on that together, me and you. We'll talk it out. I shall own you because that argument is garbage. Easy to beat. Easy to destroy. And now we got race riots all over the place. It's all over. And now we got questions about the integrity of the ballot. Now there's ballots that are left in ditches. Oh, coincidentally, weren't a bunch of them Trump ballots? Maybe a Trump supporter in the USPS, maybe they're the ones that did it. So that, it's like 3D chess and stuff. See, and this is the problem. This is the problem. Because people are to a point where if you bring something up with them, you prove them wrong. You show them the evidence of this fact. And you go, look, this substantiates a claim. We do this on the show all the time. Provide evidence. Debate how that plays in. How does that evidence, how does that create an argument? What role does it play in substantiating a claim? To what degree? But people now, they start right out of the gate. Orange man bad, robot land, Russia, bots, blah. And it's difficult. It sucks. Don't you hate that, by the way? And look, to any liberal who's listening, any leftist person who's listening who's just grinding their teeth in, doesn't it suck a little bit that every time you get presented with evidence like this, you somehow fall back on the idea that orange man bad? Isn't that actually a depressing thing in your life? It's so shallow. I mean, there's no way that it's a satisfying feeling. That you can no longer debate with people who you disagree with. And every time you do, someone can point you to facts and go, look, yeah, this is what this is. This is why you're wrong about X, Y, and Z. And the only thing you've got back is Hitler, racist, Putin, whatever. Doesn't that actually suck? How sad are you about that? It's gotten to this point. The Sunrise Movement. Right here, Michelle Malkin over at VDare. Wake up, the community organizers of the left are in full wildebeest mode. Now's not the time for bending down, rolling over, or playing nice. From now until Election Day, and likely until the end of the year. True. Because no matter which way this goes, it's bad. No matter which way this goes, it's bad. If you think it's going to end on Election Day, either way, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's really, really going to be volatile, explosive, violence unlike anything that we have seen. And we're already there right now. We're already there right now. And it's only going to get worse as it comes up, in part because of these crazy people. And I don't like just labeling everybody I disagree with as a crazy person. But if you're the kind of person that's taken large sums of money from George Soros and you're going to people's houses at night or early in the morning, bashing pans and pots and screaming and chanting mantras, using lasers in people's windows, learning to kick in people's doors, trying to get through police lines in order to kick through a door and say, you know, no justice, no sleep. That's crazy, man. And again, you go kicking in someone's door, period. Bye-bye, face. Seriously, you kick in somebody's door. You're sitting there, crazy maniac, screaming, calling somebody terrible names, swearing from outdoors in the middle of the morning. You are obviously a fanatical person. There's no way you can be trusted to make a sound and respectful decision regarding the integrity of my person or property, especially when you're kicking in a door. Who are you anyway, man? What's your concept of authority, by the way? Because the way that plays out, when people take justice in their own hands like that, and they go, I'm going to go kick in that door. I don't believe in no-knock warrants, but I'm going to kick in the door. I'm going to bash that window in. You start sounding like the same logic that led to people to go into abortion clinics with a gun and start shooting people. Because they take that position that says, you know what, this is a crime against heaven, it's a crime against earth, it's a crime against God and man. I'm going to go in and take action myself. But that's a violation of God's command. The state bears the sword. I am sorry to tell you. In the same way that a parent has the rod, in the same way that the church has the keys, the state has the sword. Anarcho-tyrants, yes, man. And now with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it's even worse. So what is this sunrise movement? Sorry about that. I think it keeps calling them Sunshine Club. Sunrise Movement. It's as organic as spam and as genuine as AstroTurf. I like Michelle Malkin. Michelle, I like you a lot. I would love to interview you sometime. Okay? I follow your work. Okay? I hope you follow mine. This full-time Rentum mob is an adjunct. Man, she's great. Is an adjunct of the Sierra Club. Annual budget $100 million. Top donors Michael Bloomberg, George Soros. The Sierra Club provided 5-figure initial seed grants to Sunrise's educational arm, as well as Beltway office space. Organic. Again, how many times do I have to say this? That the idea of organic, these big movements like this, it's just, it's super duper rare, man. It is just super duper rare. It's like what, diamonds in the rough? What would be a phrase? Needle in a haystack, something like that. No? Rare. Other original funders of Sunrise. Oh, look at this. The Rockefeller Foundation. Wallace Global Fund, which has also contributed to the George Soros subsidized Tides Center, Color of Change, Cancel Culture Guerrilla Warriors, and far-left legal policy groups, Alliance for Justice, and the Brennan Center for Justice. I mean, these are just anarchists, man. These are foot soldiers. Sunrise Movement co-founder Evan Weber is a former Occupy Wall Street organizer. By the way, I reported on Occupy Wall Street. I've been to their meetings. I have seen the internal workings of this, how those groups voted, how those groups made decisions. I interviewed them about their ideas regarding direct action and the kinds of stuff that these people are willing to do that years later they're going to email you and beg you to take it off of your website because they're trying to get a job. Why is that? Why is that? I didn't take it down, man. No way. Kept that bad boy up. Well, you're putting us in danger. No, again, why are you putting yourself in that situation? Because I believe so strongly about it. Well, then you know what? Bite the bullet, buddy. I'm a Catholic, man. We got martyrs, dude. Every day. Every day we honor some martyr. Don't give that to me. Don't talk to me about that. You believe it? You stand up for what you believe. You do your thing. There's a whole bunch of these terrible groups. It's manufactured chaos. Go read that article. Yeah. Election interference. So here we go again. Look at the dynamics, by the way. Look at the different dynamics here at play. And ask yourself, say, what's missing? What's missing in this recipe? Betty Crocker, again, look up the recipe and say, what is missing? What ingredient is missing in this? In the playbook for the color revolution, the coup. It's what this is. For the war, the civil war that we are currently engaged in without fully weaponizing and realizing this is, in fact, what's happening right now. Far left Facebook slaps warning label on House Judiciary Committee mail-in voting report. Think about that, man. On Wednesday, Facebook censored and slapped a warning label on House GOP Judiciary report on mail-in voting. They had to shut it down. Look at this. Remember 2016? Remember giving out the questions to Hillary? She knew in advance what the questions were. Now one of the ladies who did that, she works for Fox. Fox is toast. And they're the ones that gave out the details here. It's obvious Joe Biden is in poor mental health. Joe can't remember where he is or what he's doing. Totally true. He cannot put together complete sentences. Completely true. The guy cannot travel from his basement bunker without taking the next day off. That's totally true. He goes and he does something. He'll go and he'll do a speaking engagement, right? And you'll hear him, and he's so tired. He's exhausted. Probably drugged out of his mind just to even function. But he's ancient. He's totally ancient. The guy is farting dust at this point, right? Pooping ashes. Just in. Oh, as Axios shared this. Just in. The Commission for Presidential Debates has released the topics. Oh, the commission for him. Oh, yeah, you're definitely in. Has released topics for the first debate, September 29th. The Trump and Biden records. Okay. The Supreme Court. COVID-19, the economy, race and violence in our cities, the integrity of the election. I actually don't think that this plays badly for Donald Trump. Is it John Cardillo? Disagrees. He says they're completely avoiding China and the Middle East. Those are really important. Trump can bring those things up. But to be really honest, I don't think that those are going to be as big as Trump rocking the daylights out of topics like Biden's record compared to his own, especially on economics, pre-COVID economics, period. Even COVID, he could own him. To do it, here's the one difficulty. Look, I don't mean to be braggadocious. You put me in there, number one, Biden couldn't do it. I mean, we're pretty quick here, right? Quick on our feet. Quick with responses. And I can see out of the corner of my eye, right? I can see the teleprompter over there for him. I'm like, look, bro, I don't need that. I don't have a teleprompter for this. Although it might be nice. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Right? I don't need a teleprompter, though. But to be able to win in that particular debate, you are going to need to defy that constant repetition of 200,000. It's a lie. Well, insufficient. It's a lie of omission at play. Because you break it down and you say, oh, well, that's weird. 94% of the people who died from COVID, 94%, according to the CDC. So they can't get around that and go, well, you're just relying on Fox. No. CDC numbers, 94%. The majority of those had two or more underlying conditions, comorbidities. Some of them might have had, let's say they have cancer, and they were poisoned, and they went in and they died. And then they find out in the autopsy they had COVID. But you're going to have to be able to go there. You're going to have to be able to talk about the situation. Where is it here? I got an article with it. Where is it? We'll skip over the Obamagate one. We'll skip over a lot of this. Here we go. Right here. Let's go back. Right here. It's a scam. After 48,299 COVID-19 cases at 37 U.S. universities, 2 hospitalizations, 0 death. You are more likely to be killed by a dog. There have now been 48,299 coronavirus cases. And remember, the last episode, we talked about what that means. When people say cases, people are like, oh, well, it must have just been a brand new thing. They might have it right now like it's spreading in the moment. Untrue. Not how many cycles we're testing by. No way. Go back and watch that last episode. It's great. Watch all of them. They're all good. Of those cases, there have only been 2 hospitalizations, 0 deaths. They couldn't even sneak in a cancer victim into the counts because no one died. And here it is. Look at this. Look at that. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, 1. University of Wisconsin, San Diego State. Total 2. Look at that. 2. Unbelievable. But you have to be willing to talk about that. You have to be willing to talk about the fact that the majority, wait, what is it? Is it 40%? So okay, not a majority. It's about 40% of the people who died were in elder care homes. That is dramatic. That is not something to freaking play with. That is dramatic. That is, if you were to take that number out of there, unbelievable. Unbelievable. It could have been prevented. Michigan, New York. Shame on you. You are guilty of sin and you know it. People have died because of that decision. Cuomo and Whitmer, they know what they have done. Means to an end. I am so sorry. It makes me want to cry. Like I know people. I know people who haven't even been able to visit their own father because it's so bad in those elder care homes. And she doesn't even get to come here very often. She lives out of state. She can't really move back either because marriage and things like that and a kid. More. Obamagate, the movie, is being censored by Twitter. Read about that. Justice Department. We'll talk about this separate on a different occasion. Justice Department to propose congressional curbs to big tech legal immunity. That's actually a really important article. That's a really important thing that they're doing, by the way. So you've got big tech all over the place. You got the mail all over the place. You got race war crap all over the place. And then you still have this. Kamala Harris agrees with the claim that America is founded on racism, sexism, and other evils. See, we can't allow, and this is unfortunate because the right's slow to come to the game. I mean, they're like intuitively wise, right? they in the end, they end up okay. But it always is kind of this, they end up taking a beating and they end up putting themselves in a position that's defensive by allowing the left to play Mr. Potato Head with words. They do. They do that the same way they did the rainbow. Same thing. The same way that Hitler did it with the mustachio. It's so bad with that. It's so bad with that I don't know if you can see. I wish I could zoom. Can I zoom with this thing? I don't think so. No. Crud. I was hoping I was going to be able to zoom, man. I might, you know what? Let me try this. No. Okay. So the thing is, if you were to zoom a little closer, you would see that I have blonde here, and like dark red right here. And if I have a mustache from the distance, people are like, yo, bro, why you have that Hitler stash? What? He ruined that stash, by the way. And he ruined mine. He ruined my full stash. Butt face. On a bazillion different levels. And I would use a different word, but I can't self-censor right now with the little beep button. So can't do it. But they hijack this stuff. And then we're stuck having to try to figure it out and debate from the defensive. We win. It just takes a long time And a lot of terrible things end up happening. Kind of like the way that we were right about the way that if you change the idea of marriage and you base it on the idea of two adults loving each other, and love is all that matters, that it's going to spawn the most ridiculous stuff. If you say, well, I'm going to respect a person who wishes to identify as a man or woman, if I know them, I'll respect that person. And then all of a sudden now, it's down with the binary. It's Louis is now Lorraine, playing against your little Annabelle, lifting about 300 pounds more for the title. Immigration, open borders, the idea that whites would be a minority. Yeah. You remember that? You remember how many people for so long said, oh, I can't believe they would say that. Oh, that's just racist. Nobody's talking that way. Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You're lying. This is actually a really good video. I can't play it because I don't have the audio, but you got to see this. Australians must know the truth. This virus is not a pandemic, by Alan Jones over at Sky News Australia. I actually saw this first shared by Kennedy Hall. Again, you can find a lot of Kennedy Hall stuff over at Meaning of Catholic. In fact, he came out, if I remember correctly, he came out with a novel. He has another book about masculinity. I need to buy that. I need to buy it, buddy. Maybe we'll need to talk. I need to get a signed copy. Okay? I'll review it. Should have already had it already. Oh, wow, that's a lot. But see, here's the thing. Trump's fighting back, and it's one of the reasons I voted for him. Because he is a fighter. He's a what? Counterpuncher. And in this one, he's counterpunching again. He's counterpunching on 1776. Going against 1619. He's counterpunching, banning social justice indoctrination, and including within that government contractors. This is massive. Because this would apply not only to different agencies, but more than that, federal contractors. The order calls out the Department of Treasury, which held a workshop advocating for the idea that, quote, virtually all white people, regardless of how woke they are, and this is in quotes, contribute to racism. Group leaders at the seminar encouraged staff to steer clear of narratives that America should be more colorblind. Yeah, because they're raging racists. Because they're racists. Red, yellow, black, and white, they are precious in his sight. Now, if that's to say, look, when people say colorblind, they don't mean I don't see your color at all. Only the cuckoo left does that. Only the cuckoo left. It's like the guy, what was it? Founders, the brewery in Michigan. Wasn't it Founders? Person of color was mad because they had a black and a white printer. It was on different floors. One was black, one was white. And they were that color. So they would say, yeah, go use the black printer or go use the white printer. That's racist. No, it's not. But when the people were in there and they accused the manager and others, the attorney, it's hilarious. The attorney, and sad, it's tragic, but it's hilarious. Okay. It's how dumb it gets. Is that they said, well, look, did you not notice that this person was black? No, actually, I didn't know. Dude, he's like totally black. Really? Is it? That person's a cuckoo wacko. I'd say, yeah, dude, of course I recognize that guy's black. I've got 2 fully functioning eyeballs. And even if I didn't, I might be able to tell by the timbre of his voice. They could do the same for me. It's not racist to say that. So if you recognize the color of somebody's skin, if you recognize the fact that they, certain races have a certain sicknesses, diseases affect them differently, and not just because of socioeconomic matters. Sickle cell's a thing, right? Sickle cell's a thing. But just because you recognize biology, when you're talking about a person, you would say, yes, the black guy. But that doesn't say anything else about him other than optics. And maybe some things regarding different factors that may be affected by biology. But the idea of color blindness is not the idea that we hide our eyes and say, I don't see what I see. But it's to say we focus on your character, the qualities you have, your integrity, your honesty, your righteousness. Oh, but Department of Treasury, steer clear of that. And steer clear of the idea, the narrative of let people's skills and personalities be what differentiates them. Yes, man, you need to put everybody back in their boxes of colors. What a bunch of racists, dude. That's straight up Jim Crow crap. These people are Jim Crowing it up. But Trump's fighting back, saying no more. We're experiencing this guilt complex. It's a great article, actually. I think, you know what? Let me see here. I'm going to go over the guilt one. I'll save that. Look, I'm going to save that for another occasion because I want to talk real quickly before we go to the memes. And we're going over time because I started late. I started almost 15, 20 minutes late, and I had an intro. So I'll go a little bit over, if you don't mind. I hope you don't. And look, if you've posted comments and stuff, and we haven't gotten to it yet, I apologize. Make sure to come back if it's too late and you have to go CPCP. And remember, there's a good possibility that beginning on Monday, I'm going to be going live in the morning before noon. Okay, we'll make it as easy as we can. I don't know if I can have the 10 to 12 spot. That's actually my hope, is that somehow, some way, I'll be able to do 10 to 12 or even 10 to 11:30. I don't care. I don't know how this plays out, but as long as I can have that time spot, because I want to be able to still go to mass with my kids. So pray for me, by the way, big time. But I wanted to talk about this. Rolling Stones, because I don't just want to talk about stuff that is terrible. And I mean, I don't think this is terrible. It's debatable, right? 5 interesting things we noticed about Rolling Stone's new 500 greatest albums of all time. Number 1, Canadians have a strong presence in the top 100. Is it Joni Mitchell? Johnny Mitchell? Has scored the coveted number 3 spot on the list for her album Blue. She's higher on the list than the Beatles. That, debated, right? Should she? Neil Young. I like Neil Young's music. I do. I like Leonard Skinner too, and I know that the two of them had some beef, right? Neil Young's at number 72, but I like Neil Young a lot. Drake. There are certain Drake songs I like a lot. Take Care is at 95. Wow, man. Ranks higher. So, okay, wait. Robbie Robertson's The Band is at 57, which is higher than Taylor Swift, Kanye West, Beyonce, Madonna, and Elvis Presley. Woo! Leonard Cohen, The Weeknd, and Arcade Fire. Those are all 3 of those. Definitely need to be in the top 500, no doubt. Number 2, black women crack the top 50. Apparently, in 2003, the top 50 was almost entirely made up of white dudes. Only 12 albums that cracked the top 50 weren't by white people. 0 were women of color. See here. 3 black women in the top 50 isn't incredibly overwhelming, but the remainder of the top 500 list is heavily populated. Erykah Badu, Missy Elliott, Janet Jackson, Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, Aretha Franklin. Better believe it. What do you think about that? I'd love to hear what people think. What if you had to list the top 5 albums of all time? If you're in the comment section, you had to list the top 5 or mail it to me. And what I'll do is I'll put together what I think are the best. Okay, and mine's more limited, right? I don't work for a music magazine like Rolling Stone, but I have worked being a DJ for many, many, many years. And I'm going to mix in there what I think personally. It's just my personal thing. It's not like a Hall of Fame style thing, right? It's just for me. So you're going to see bands on there that you'll be like, dude, I don't know what that is, and I totally disagree with them. But I'll put that over at paleocratdiaries.com. 3, Black, Indigenous, People of Color. What is up with that name? Again, if you know something about that and why Black and Indigenous is not already wrapped up in People of Color, why that's a special category. Artists do make the list, but there's still a long ways to go. But, okay, what does that mean? So Jimi Hendrix, Michael Jackson, Miles Davis. The top 50 only had one hip-hop act, Public Enemy. And that was number 48. That was back in 2003. But by 2020, whoa, wait a second. The coveted number 1 spot. Well, okay. The hallowed and revered late, great Marvin Gaye is now proudly sitting on the number 1 album of all time throne for What's Going On. What do you think of that, America? What do you think of that? Do you agree with that? Look, it's a great album. Number 1, it bumped the infamous concept album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Yeah. Dark Side of the Moon. I'd put Dark Side of the Moon. Both of those. No offense to Marvin Gaye. Again, great album. Women Rise in the Ranks. Mitchell's in 3rd. That makes 3 women in the top 10. 9 women in the top 50. If you include Velvet Underground. What's up with that? Is there a tranny reference in that? I don't know. I'm a little bit oblivious on this one. Compare that with 2000. Like, why wouldn't you just include them? What's up with that? Compare that with 2003, when only 3 women musicians were allowed to crack the top 50. Back then, Mitchell was ranked at 30. That's kind of a kick in the teeth when you realize that the Beatles had a whopping 5 albums in the top 14 in 2003. Unsurprising, in a way. I mean, maybe that was a little bit overboard. 5 in the top 14. Many classic albums fell off the list. I had this actually highlighted because there was some on there that it made me sad. Music by Madonna. Yeah, that's okay. Get it out of there. Rocksteady by No Doubt. Okay. Mezzanine by Massive Attack. I don't know. I don't even know. Tragic Kingdom by No Doubt. So both No Doubts those 2 No Doubts are gone. Oh, yeah, but see, this is outrageous. This is outrageous, man. This is where you lost me on this, okay? Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by the Smashing Pumpkins. That album, I like Siamese Dreams better. I'm a huge fan of Siamese Dreams. I love the album, okay? But Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, for all my criticisms of the album, my criticisms growing up hearing it was that it wasn't Siamese Dreams. But going back as an adult and revisiting that album, I thought, man, this is conceptually genius. By the way, I heard they're back. You always kind of hear that, though. Oh, yeah, Ben's original. Yeah, Ben's original. I mentioned earlier that Uncle Ben is out, and now it's just Ben. Ben's original. Uncle Ben is so much better. It's got look. It's not just nostalgic. It has a flow and a ring to it. Ben's original. Uncle Ben's. Oh my gosh. Last ones. These are kind of fun. Then we'll go to memes real quick. Actually, we might just go to comments. Let me see here. Detroit driver arrested actually after successfully jumping over a drawbridge. In fact, that's basically a meme. I'll just leave it at that. There was another one too. Where was that? Where was that bugger? No. No. Oh, I think I took a picture of it. Yeah. All right, let's go here. Okay. We're just gonna go to this because I've got a couple. You know, anyway, let me see. I don't have too many. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead here. Let's see. And by the way, yes, I want to thank a lot of these people for commenting. Definitely appreciate it. We're gonna go ahead and do this. Let me see if I can go ahead and make this bigger. Brr. There we go. Can I make that even bigger than that? Can I make that even bigger? Oh, it's driving me nuts. Here, let me see if I can get this up, man, because it's gonna drive me crazy. This is gonna drive me crazy, man. Let's see here. News, window capture. Window capture. Here we go. I'm gonna make this bugger real big. Look at that. One more time. Because I want to be able to see these memes. I have too much fun with this. Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court. Oh my gosh. And by the way, if you like memes, okay? If you like memes and you would like to share them with me, I'm definitely open to them. You can go ahead and share them with me at the Facebook page, okay, Jeremiah.Bannister, or at Paleocrat on Facebook. And of course, you can email them to me at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. I always love, or Twitter, I don't care. I'll save them. I'll even give you a good mention. When you make America great, twice again. Again, twice. This is a highly edited picture. This didn't really happen. I'm waiting for reliable sources to do that. I just published today. I gave my dad a choice. Trump or his grandkids. Oh, come on. What a sicko. What a sad guy. If you don't vote the way I want, you don't get to see your grandkids or me. Dude, that's obviously, this person is a manipulative person. That's really terrible. For all the disagreements that I may have with people, the idea of saying, if you don't agree with me on this, then you know what? You're just simply not able to see your kids. They're going to live and regret it. That's the thing. They'll live to regret. You are here. That is the new face, by the way. Because the girl screaming, that'll always be funny. The 2016 howling at the moon lady. It'll always be kind of funny. But let's see here. Hola, my Latinx friends. Man, they don't like that word. Now, I don't know what this means, so I'm not going to say it. Calate gringo pendejo. What does that mean? What does that mean? If you know what that means in the comments, go ahead and tell me. Michigan mom and son open freaking pickle palace? What? Are you serious? I mean, that's the original idea. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have 12 delicious... Okay, this place. It's original. I hope they last a really long time. Look, the cheese lady cheese lady, but I wonder if she has more than 12 kinds of cheeses. We'll see how that goes. Oh, yeah, this is propaganda. There's no difference. American flag, Nazi flag, are you crazy? And see, that's the Fisher Price. Let's see this here. We got to get this on the screen. It's too good. Fisher Price releases My First Peaceful Protest playset with house you can actually burn down. Look at this kid. Oh my gosh. Is that Babylon B? I think that's where that's from. Yeah. See, this is how I felt when Wolfgang Phoenix was born. I'm looking out at the world and thinking, dude, I just created an A-bomb, man. Bunch of boys. Sending them out into the world. I think I got this from my cousin. Stop, you can't post that. What is this from? We just recently watched Romeo and Juliet. Well, we watched the beginning of it. The version with him in it. It's a great movie. Look, unpopular thing. I've never seen What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I've never seen it. There's my cousin, by the way. Dr. Derek from the video earlier. I've been saying theaters should be doing this for months. Drive-through concession and candy sale. Smart. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hey, Chad Lutsky, you got to see this. I got to buy him this shirt. I got to buy him that shirt. It's great. Look at this. If you're so punk, name this band. Yeah, Dead Kennedys. I thought I didn't think of that at first. But I thought, well, one's a lady killer. Well, lady killers, According to corporate media, Joe Biden is a devout Catholic. Let's get her face down there. Yeah, sorry about that. Nancy Pelosi is a devout Catholic. Al Sharpton is a respected pastor. And Amy Coney Barrett is a religious extremist. Yeah. Look at this. I saw this, and Ben Shapiro. Look, this guy's kind of a joke, if we're honest, right? He has some pretty good zingers. He should have never replaced, whoever made the corporate decision to replace Michael Savage with Ben Shapiro. I mean, what a dummy. What a stupid idiot. Shapiro, I don't believe, will ever be in the Hall of Fame for radio. But he wrote The Passion 2. He won't be crossed again. This guy he uses Christianity in a way that is no good. I mean, if I were to rag on Jews, he'd be one of the first people to come out saying anti-Semite. This is good. Okay, boomer. And I actually think that's a cute song. Convince me otherwise. I think it's a cute song. She's got a cute little swing to it. Her face and stuff. She's real symmetrical. Beautiful woman. Beautiful girl. She made that okay boomer. Yeah, I don't think that she actually made the song. Oh, yeah. Okay, boomer. If you kill somebody breaking into your house, it's because you value your things more than someone else's life. Me? So anyway, I started blasting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And it's not because I value my things over somebody's life. It's because I value my life. That's why. And I don't want them destroying my stuff anyway. But that's not why I'm not like, well, you better not grab the lamp. Mainstream media, Joe Biden's campaign. Look at his face. Have you guys seen positive memes about Joe Biden? Have you seen the kind of memes where it's like, like the Trump meme where he's on a tank and he's got, the flag and an eagle and there's fireworks and stuff? Do you have any of that with Joe Biden? I've only seen nonsense. Breaking. The Chicago Police Department has replaced all sirens with the national anthem to force suspects to stop running and take a knee. See, these are I'm seeing this stuff. Joe Biden changed my mind. Yeah. If you try to replace RBG, we'll be forced to start a civil war. I accept. Wait, are you serious? Yeah, I accept your civil war. This is hilarious. All right, look, let's say you learned your lesson and just call this whole thing off. Well, no, once the Civil War has been accepted, there's no backing out. That's the rule. And he's like, what? Oh, he's got an Antifa sticker too. Look at it. Okay, great. I'll pencil you in for next week. I was actually looking for something to do that week. Yeah. Democrat voters, whenever Biden forms a complete sentence and doesn't molest a child. What was it? Was it last episode where Twitter wouldn't allow the video of Biden where his hand keeps going toward the little girl's breast and she like kind of like nudges and gets away and then his hand slowly does it again and they took it off because it's perverted toward kids? Ugh. That says something though, don't it? This was great. If you haven't seen this video, you got to check it out. Left-winger has a meltdown over Trump supporters rallying, ends up hitting the car in front of her. And look, it's what happens when you act that way. It's crazy. Change.org. Hello. We're writing to let you know the information you've included in your petition violates our community guidelines. Really? Okay. What is it about? Oh. We demand an increase in diversity of players in the NBA and NFL. Oh, wow. Despite making up only 6% of the population, 87% of the NBA and 70% of the NFL players are black males. Wow. And why did they ban that? Change.org. What does it say? Several members of the Detroit Lions refused to stand for a beautiful national anthem, and then they lost by 21 points. They should spend more time on the playbook and less time trying to be political active. Look, this is David Hookstead. Look, I'm with you on standing for the anthem. Okay, I personally believe that there are better ways of dealing with this. Okay, at the same time, that ain't why they lost by 21 points. And even if they studied super duper hard, we in Michigan understand this. Detroit Lions fans enjoying football season being back. They're a dumpster fire, dude. They're really bad. They're super duper bad. CDC Halloween 2020 guidelines, trick-or-treating, costume masks not advised. Ironically, this is the one time you shouldn't wear a mask. Really? Oh, this is like a news thing. Report, FBI agent John Robertson, who uncovered Wiener laptop with Hillary's emails, says FBI leadership told him to erase all of his findings. Wouldn't be surprised. Hillary wiped the stuff clean. Yeah, bleached it. Bleached it. The Mueller team, what was it, man? They wiped how many? How many phones? It was like 15 phones? What's this? A children's author whose books are frequently read at drag queen story hour events across the country was caught liking an Instagram picture posted by a proud pedophile. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. Oh, come on now. Danish TV show that pairs kids and naked adults slammed as depraved. Yes, obviously. You don't understand, Your Honor. I only made those children dance for me to show people that sexy children is bad. All right. Enough of that. So look, if you want, remember, if you would like to send me any of your memes, I love laughing at them. I love having a good time. Okay. You can do that, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. All right. All right, here we go. Okay, Cherie, wait, what? I'm assuming that it had to do with people saying that I am Illuminati. Yeah, you got to go back. You know, it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing. Deja Jones, LOL, what did I just watch? Oh, man, yes, that's Paleonaughty. If you saw that and you wanted to see more, go like Paleonaughty. There's rumor that there's more videos coming. Rumor. I've got it on good authority, though, okay? New World Order priest, that's ludicrous. Yes, obviously, yes. Thank you, Cherie. Ryan Lepper, awesome hat, love it. Oh, wait, thank you very much, Ryan. Thank you very much, buddy. This is actually my son's hat. I wish I could zoom. It's a Five Nights at Freddy's hat. Carl Behrens, I came, I laughed, and I had never heard of you. As a result, your esoteric hand sign satire came as a surprise. Okay, yes, I know who Carl is. Carl, yep. I won't out you, Carl. I won't out you. But I'm glad. Look, you watched. Okay, the Beasties win. Yes, dude. But you know, look, in fairness, there's a good point. People who don't know a backstory, and I hope to get a lot of them. Otherwise, I'm just playing, you know, for the choir. You know, I want new people to follow what I'm doing. And the only way to do that is to reach new people. Okay. And those people won't know because they're new. They won't know the backstory. And I don't want them to come in and be like, oh my gosh, dude, is the guy a Freemason? Shirley, love you, buddy, and thanks for what you do. Thank you so much, Shirley. I love you too. Cherie, we always have the right to defend ourselves. Absolutely 100%. It's a fundamental right. In fact, it may be one of the most, if not the most fundamental, because if we aren't able to defend ourselves, then you won't be able to have ideas on your own either. Right? Evangellyfish, yes. I don't know where I got that. To be honest, I don't know where the first time I heard that. It's been a long time, and it stuck with me ever since. I stuck with it. Yes, the founding would be 1776. That's in reference to the 1619 project. Yeah, the idea, okay, which is why I'm here, in reference to people from a different perspective. And still respecting and loving. Okay? And by the way, Deja is a great artist. I know this. Yes. I know this. And I don't know if we haven't talked in a while, but I'm rather confident that a lot of this stuff's public, selling it and stuff like that. You got to check it out. Great artist. The Comey Rule. Yes, thank you. I mentioned that earlier. I said there's a really terrible propaganda film about Comey. Yeah, the guy's a faker, man. The guy is a joke. Melissa Kalenda says, yes, it does suck. Yeah, oh, totally. Totally. Amy Cabanas, please pray for a fast recover of 3 office mates who have COVID. Yes, please. In fact, everybody, if you're listening right now, make sure to pray. Pray for Amy's office mates. Okay. In fact, I would say above and beyond that, encourage them to do certain things. You know, if you want to reach out to me, I personally do. Let's see. Oh man, that's I went up too high. Hold on a second. Let me scroll this bugger down so that it's not so high. There we go. I didn't see that. Okay. I don't understand why someone who has a medical diagnosis of dementia is able to run for the... Oh my gosh. Kathy, yes. Oh, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. Yes, look, it's a rough thing. It's a rough thing. It's obvious, isn't it? Like, And I don't want to just rip on. I've said that before. Hey, look, no matter who it is, I mean, obviously I play the game. I'm like, look, we're going to go hardcore against this person. We want our team to win. That's how this works. At the same time, if our team loses, I sincerely hope that the person on the other side is going to lead this country in a way that's righteous and just and fair, regardless of party. Deja, it makes me want to cry. One of my best friends lost her uncle in the care home. Man. They didn't get to see him before or after he died. And look, this is... I remember talking years ago about how there's this phony idea of terrorism, okay, that says if we go and we shoot those people over there, and they're all over there, we're going to go and kill them. Those are the terrorists. We bombed them, and boom, they're gone, okay? The problem with that is that those people, by and large, have children. Those children oftentimes will be radicalized by this because they're going to watch as the government will continue to insist that they did nothing wrong. A lot of times, especially with drone attacks, for example, and I have a video about this, specifically on YouTube, specifically, talking about, it was in Afghanistan, about this drone attack that took place, and it was on a wedding party. It was like close to 100, I guess. Pretty close to 70-something. I have the facts all in there. Okay, I put them in the video. It's got music and everything. Great video. But the thing is, the America said, well, we got the bad guys. The bad guys were there. And then later it was found out, oh my gosh, it's a wedding party. And then they said nobody died. But the thing is, the people on the ground knew better. The people on the ground began to see what the problem was with the bombing. And after an immense amount of pressure, an immense amount of fire under the heels, finally, they admitted to the truth. They radicalized people. Because those kids or relatives are not just going to be depressed and traumatized at the loss, but now they're going to be filled with hatred and revenge. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen when Johnny Q and Sally Sue can't go see Grandpa as he's dying, can't see him afterward, and then you find out that the statistics for somebody under certain ages is minuscule, and we're going to find out more and more and more. And it's only if you understand how this works, and this is predicted months ago from me and others, but if you look at the trajectory of how this works, and it's not hard, is that the more we find out, the more we're going to realize that it ain't nothing like the Spanish flu. Nothing. Nothing at all. Benjamini. Morning, guys. Morning to you. I don't know where you are, man. Where are you? Italy or something? Okay. Dr. Dre needs to be on there somewhere toward the top, as well as JD. Brian. Yes, dude. Michael. Wow, that's all as far as rap? Dude, it's, yes. Yeah. But I agree, Dr. Dre, the idea that Dr. Dre is not higher. And Jay-Z. Come on, man. Come on now. NWA as a group. Yeah. Oh, yes. This world terrifies me for boys. Let me see here. Are you kidding? Oh yeah, the idea about Gilbert Grape. Yes, I have not seen What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I am so sorry. I have not. It may come as a surprise to you. I have not seen a lot of movies. But I've also seen a bazillion. It's like one of those things where I've seen like a bazillion movies, but then when I say which ones I haven't seen, people are like, they have no idea. Let's see here. Exactly. What I value, my life and my family's, and they obviously didn't value their own life walking into my home. Yes. The Lions have been terrible for decades. That's what I'm trying to say. They've been bad basically since the beginning. And it's so sad because, I mean, when you're that bad, the idea is you're going to get good draft picks so that you won't be bad forever, right? Might take a couple years, but it's like nothing helps, man. Nothing helps at all. All right. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure we'll have a little after party. If you watched this and you had a fun time, make sure to connect with me either on Twitter. I'll be up probably for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Because you get really revved up, you ain't going to bed right away. That's just the truth, right? That's just the way that works. So make sure you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Jeremiah.Bannister. And of course, you can also reach out to me at Paleocrat on Facebook, Paleocrat on Twitter, Paleocrat on Instagram, on YouTube. I'm Paleocrat everywhere. And PaleocratDiaries.com, where you'll be able to find all the information about me, as well as being able to connect with me for speeches, debates, interviews. I would love to connect with you and do collaboration. And lastly, do not forget about Paleo Cheese Podcast. It's a good one. We just put up one. I'm trying to remember what it was. Let me see here, because it was good. It was a really good episode. Let me look this up. Paleo Cheese. Oh no. Here we go. Look at that. Let's see. House of the Devil, which was one of those movies where I had a lot of good things to say about it, right? Because we watch scary movies, and part of it is that I have to watch them because I've avoided them forever. And I watch them in the dark, alone, or with my wife. I was actually recently editing It Follows, and I was laughing at myself, just thinking, man, dude, you are a scaredy cat. And it's always bringing up new things that I'm scared of. So you got to check that out. We have some great guests. And then Meaning of Catholic. Meaning of Catholic. Okay. I am going to be on there debating Tim Flanders. And we're debating the issue of whether or not Catholic people should vote for Donald Trump. Or if they would be better served either voting third party or not voting at all. Because I think that I think he's having a debate with somebody that believes in supporting Joe Biden, right? A Catholic supporting Joe Biden. And so he wanted to debate me on that issue. I have to clarify, and the last thing I'll say, I have to clarify. He wrote in there the way he framed it, and it sparked huge comments on Facebook. But the way he framed it was that I take the position that a Catholic must. I do not. I do not take that. I believe that they ought to, and that they should feel strongly compelled, and that not just a Catholic, but I would make that case to anybody. Okay, and I'd be willing to hear the case that someone would make to me. That's how I roll. Okay, if you'd like to know more, again, PaleocratDiaries.com. Email me at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. And be back again on Saturday for another fantastic episode of Paleocrat Diaries. Until next time, never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off.
The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.